incredibly well. I get to hang out by myself at home today. I just want to have a cozy day. It has been super like overcast and gloomy all morning. The sun just randomly keeps popping out, and I had some outdoor activities planned, but I think I'm just gonna hang out inside because it's super muddy out now. And I was really hoping to plant some seeds, but I have some milkweed and some grape hyacinth, I think, and they are so stunning, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna get down in the mud today. But all the milkweed plants in our yard, and we have a lot, are splitting their seed pods. If you've never seen milkweed seeds before, milkweed plants will give off these beautiful pods, and then when you split them open, these are all seeds, and they typically just fly away in the wind, but I want to grab a few this year and plant some seeds this fall so that we can have some more milkweed plants next year, because they are the monarch's favorite and I want to attract all the butterflies. And you can probably hear my chickens in the background. We still have our 2 chicks inside and separate from the other hens because they're kind of mean to them, so we still have to keep them indoors until they get a little bit bigger. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this cozy little day with me. I am still reading Autumn by the Sea. I have been taking my time with it as usual, but mostly because I'm really enjoying this story a lot. I will give you guys an update in a little bit. I'm almost done with it actually. As you can see my bookmark, I don't have that much left, so I plan on finishing that in this little vlog as well. But I just want to have, like I said, a cozy day. I have a few things that I want to get done. I did dishes this morning, so I'm feeling a little bit accomplished, but I also really want to get my new keyboard caps on my keyboard, and then I have a washi tape dispenser that I want to set up, so I figured that I would just get those little things done while I chat with you guys and then read a little bit. I actually really wanted to quickly show you guys these cups too. These were sitting on my table as I was doing my Bible study, I realized, but my mother-in-law got me the cutest Land Before Time cups I have ever seen in my life. She got them at a sale for like, I don't know, probably like $1 or something, but aren't they amazing? So if you don't know, Land Before Time is a movie series from like the 80s. And I'm a 90s baby, but I grew up on these movies. These movies were literally my entire life growing up. I watched them probably every single day. My great-grandma used to laugh because she said that I would sit on her lap and watch these and I would just say every word in the movies. They're so wonderful and they're very emotional. The first one, if you know, you know, but I was so excited that I got these. I'm gonna have to display them somehow because they're all just so cute, and I of course love Petrie. Petrie and Ducky are just like my favorites, but if you haven't seen the movies, I highly recommend them. They're just so wholesome and beautiful and they make me so happy. So I had to show you guys those because they're still sitting on my table because I'm not sure where to put them. So yeah, I've just got a few things that I want to get done today. Okay, so I got these washi tape dispensers, but I have these ones that I got on Amazon, and they're so beautiful and the box is nice, but I just don't like having to open the box every single time I have to get something. But these washi tapes are beautiful, and I know I've mentioned this before, but this is like one of my goals for this year and next year and just in life, is to actually use the really beautiful things that I have, because I have like nice things. Like I have nice washi tape and good pens and beautiful wax seals and like all this stuff, and I never use it because I'm like, but it's so nice. Like what if I'm gonna need it for something? And I really just need to get better at just like using things because life is a special occasion, you know? Anyway, so I got these dispensers, and I can just put my little washi tape on here, bring them out to like cut right here. So I'm hoping that this will be much easier, and I'm just very excited to get them out of this box. And then I figured I would chat with you guys about Autumn by the Sea while I do this. So I'm really enjoying Autumn by the Sea. Right now it's giving probably 4.5, maybe 5. I will say the first half wasn't something that I was like super crazy about, but then the second half of the book, when the romance really picks up, I was so into it. The romance in this book is so good. So the synopsis is a little much, but I will try my best to give a good outline of it. So basically there's this girl, Sydney Rose, who grew up as an orphan, and she kind of has just been living her life, thriving, you know, things are going well. And then this PI comes tumbling into her life and is like, hey, I'm pretty sure your grandmother is looking for you. I've been hired to find her granddaughter and we think it might be you. And she has a lot going on in her life already. She has like a job that she loves and she still looks after her foster brother, but she takes a leap of faith and she decides to go to Maine where her potential grandmother is living, and her grandmother supposedly has 3 children that she adopted who are currently living with her. Neil was adopted when he was 14 from Scotland, so he's got like a little bit of an accent going on and he's like just super rugged and manly, and I love it so much. Like always described as wearing a flannel and has like a beard and just like all of this beautiful manly stuff. The family is the Muir family and they have a blueberry farm, and Neil is kind of taking it upon himself to keep the farm going. He's got a whole story that is just really beautiful. The grandmother's name is Maggie. Her other adopted daughter, who is potentially Sydney's mother, had died in a car accident when Sydney was little. Sydney is out in Maine getting to know Maggie, and a little bit of a romance sparks between Sydney and Neil, and it's so beautiful and I love it. And it is definitely very like slow burn, but it's so incredibly wholesome at the same time. And I had mentioned this in my TBR video that it does have very subtle like faith themes, and I'm really enjoying that aspect. And I know I had already mentioned this in the other video as well, but like it is not in any way like pushy or theological kind of faith theme. It's very subtle and I'm just enjoying it so much. I will say the writing is a little bit odd. For me specifically, I have like a hard time being able to tell who says what sometimes. Like somebody will say something and it'll kind of go back and forth a little bit and I'm like, wait, who's saying what? So that's like the only part that's kind of confusing me a little bit. The writing is also very different than what I'm used to. Like she uses some phrases or like, I don't know, just says things a certain way that I'm like, I've never heard anybody say it or say something like that before. It's really hard to like explain what I mean, but it is enjoyable. The writing is a little bit choppy, but it's not like bad. I personally actually really enjoy it and I'm really looking forward to reading more of Melissa Tagg's books. But along with the romance and found family theme, there's also a little bit of a mystery going on too, which is really interesting. Like I love that there's so many themes in the book, but it doesn't feel like overwhelming at all or anything. One of the themes is that the Muir family is Scottish, and there is this legend behind their family that they have a chalice that belonged to Bonnie Prince Charlie, which is Charles Stuart, who led the rebellion against Britain. It's so funny, the only reason why I know the history, because they brought up the story and I was like, oh my gosh, I know what they're talking about, and the only reason why is because I've seen Outlander, which is a show that I cannot recommend because it is very inappropriate. So unless you're okay like skipping scenes, then I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because it is like really inappropriate. But if you skip all the scenes, the story itself is really good, but I would not feel okay recommending it to anybody. But regardless, the story basically behind that show takes place during the rebellion of Scotland. But anyway, so the Muir family came to America with Prince Charles Stuart's chalice, and that is what afforded them like the lifestyle that they have. The chalice was buried somewhere on the property, on the farm, and it has never been found. And I'm curious to see how that's gonna play out, because right now it's just like been talked about and the story has been told, but nothing has been like sought after or found or anything like that. So I'm very interested to see how that unfolds. I don't know if it's going to be in this book or if that's going to be something more in the next couple books, because this is a 3-book series. But regardless, I'm very much enjoying that aspect as well. But yeah, I don't know, it's just the romance, like I said, it's so like slow and subtle, and like after things start happening, everything that happens between Neil and Sydney is just like so sweet and wholesome and beautiful, and I love it. And obviously Sydney flew out to Maine from Chicago, and so now that there's like this romance between her and Neil, it's like, oh my gosh, she's questioning like, what do I do, because she's like falling for this guy, but she lives in Chicago. And so it's just like, is she going to give up the life that she has now for this potential found family and for this romance that's blooming? It's just wonderful and I'm loving it so much. So right now I would definitely recommend recommend. I'm really enjoying the story, and I can't wait for the next couple books because there's also other like side stories too that are happening that I'm very curious to see where that goes. And it's also very strong Gilmore Girls vibes, like gazebo and the town square and the town meetings, and even so much as like there was one part where somebody made like a really strong punch and it reminded me of Miss Patty's Founders Day punch. But there are just so many little references that I'm like, oh my gosh, that reminds me of Gilmore Girls. But I don't want to give too much about the story itself because I don't want to like spoil anything, because there are a lot of things that have popped up that I'm like, oh my gosh, that made the story even better, and I don't want to take that away from you. I would recommend, especially if you're somebody who wants to get into more of like wholesome romance. I feel like reading only became like cool and popular again because everything is like smut and it's kind of sad. So I'm very much into wholesome stories. I would rather not read books that have a bunch of smut in them. If there is a little bit in a story, I don't mind skipping it, but I'm just not into the whole smut scene. It's just not my thing. I'd rather not. Okay, I just finished this and I loved it so much. Honestly, I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Like, part of me wants to do 4.75 because there were those little things that I mentioned before about like some of the writing being kind of funky, but This story is so good. I think I'm gonna give it 5. This was just so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I already told you all about like the found family aspect, the romance aspect, and then the mystery aspect. So there's not a whole lot of the mystery uncovered in this book. There's like little hints of it. Like I said, the family legend, that was a very, very brief part of it. And now towards the end, there's a lot more of it kind of hinted at. But there's also other mystery aspects going along with it, and I'm really enjoying that. So that's obviously going to be probably in the second and third book. I've really enjoyed how they left off. But oh my goodness. I love this so much. I think I'm gonna have to go back and put tabs in this because I didn't actually tab this book, but now I feel like I really, really need to. After Neil and Sydney's romance really started to spark up, there's so many lines that I'm like, that is so good. So I think I definitely am gonna go back and put tabs in here, which is probably gonna take me a while, but that's okay. Ugh, but they're just so wholesome and beautiful. And like I said, I love Neil's character so much. I'm just gonna read a couple of the quotes that I really enjoyed. So this one talking about kind of like the insta love versus slowly falling in love with people, you know, but I really enjoy this quote from Maggie that says, "Some love takes months or years to bloom, but some blow in like a storm over the sea, so fast and furious and wonderful it about bowls you over." Because Maggie and her late husband's relationship happened really fast. He proposed within like 3 weeks, and Maggie said it took him 3 weeks to propose. It didn't take him nearly that long to see what was right in front of him and do something about it. That's so cute. I really hope we get more of Maggie and Robert's story because that was just really, really sweet. There's so many underlines in here and so many hearts drawn all over the place. Let me see if I can find some of the last few quotes that I really, really enjoyed without giving spoilers, because obviously, like I said, I want to be able to allow anyone who is reading this to kind of like get the oomph out of it. Oh, I really enjoyed this one that said you can understand the facts of something and still hurt over it. That was really good. This one was really great from Sydney's best friend. "If you want to go back to life as normal, and if that's what God wants for you, then okay. But if he's given you a new dream, then how could it be anything but good and noble to chase it?" And Sydney says, "How do I know it's him and not just me and my own silly heart?" And her friend responds, "Why couldn't it be both?" Ah, that is such a good line. I love that. "Maybe there were times when her deepest desires were the echoes of divine whispers." That is so good. I love the concept of like some of our deepest passions are fueled because it's like something that God engraved in our hearts for us. Like it's a desire that he gave to us, and I just really love that connection there. These 2 pages were some of my favorites. As you can see, so many underlines. I don't think I'm gonna read this part to you because this is just like the best part of the whole book when all the romance comes out. It is just so good. Okay, 2 more quotes and then I swear I'll close this out. "Sometimes a feeling is just a feeling, other times it's truth wrapped in undeniable knowing." Oh, that was so good. And then one of the ending quotes is from Maggie, and it's talking about how there's more of a story behind another one of the characters, and it says, "But then isn't there a story everywhere?" There's so much in this book that's like not tied up. There's still so much left to ponder and to figure out. So I definitely need to hurry up and get the second book so that I can figure out what the mystery is, what happens with the legend, where the romance goes, other characters that were kind of brought in more towards the end of the story that I need to know more about. And yeah, I'm so happy I read this book. So yes, definitely recommend Autumn by the Sea. And the aesthetics were just fantastic. This is definitely an end of October, beginning of November, and I'm just feeling so giddy about it. I'll probably go reread the last few pages again because it's just so stinking cute. I don't really give 5 stars to books unless I like absolutely love it and I could see myself rereading it in the future. I feel like I gave 5 stars out pretty easily when I first started to read fiction again, but over the last like year or two, I'm like, it doesn't deserve a 5-star unless I can see myself rereading it in the future. So I think I'm probably gonna reread it. I'm like so attached to these characters now, and like I said, Neil is just my favorite character in this whole series. And I actually really like Sydney, who's the main character, which is kind of rare for me. I feel like sometimes main female protagonists are hit or miss for me, but I actually really enjoyed her character. I just can't wait to see where their relationship goes. So yeah, with all that said, I guess that is just my quick cozy day. I didn't really do a whole lot. I think I kind of needed a day like that. We've been so go on a lot of projects and cleaning and organizing and stuff. We're redoing my office right now, which is why it's kind of a jumbled mess back there, because I just got a new desk and I'm trying to find like the right organization process for my brain, and it's kind of taking a lot of mental energy for me. So I really just needed a day where I didn't have a lot to do. So thank you guys so much for joining me for this cozy little day. I hope that it was enjoyable, and I can't wait to see you guys for my next video, which is going to be something very exciting and fun for me. If you've watched to the end of this video, leave a little fall leaf and a wave. I like to do that at the end of my videos to see who stays to the end. So thank you guys so much for being here and spending a cool little cozy day with me, even though it wasn't super full of fun activities, but I had a nice relaxing day. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next one.